And the global warming thing's so fucked up because like there were really easy solutions. You know, like I just did shows in Europe, and in Europe they charge you, in parts of Europe, they charge you 22 cents for a bag at grocery stores. So everyone brings their own bag, you know, unlike in America where every time I go shopping there's some crazy old man in front of me with like a loaf of bread who's like, put it in 18 paper bags and 300 plastic, made out of the skin of a puppy that shits happy, then douse it in Iraqi oil and have one of them minorities bring it to the car for me and I'll tip them in war stories. What? Doesn't help anyone, racist old man. Why would you...
Religion is you stop asking questions and you just go, well, whatever happens, happens. And that's the problem with moderation. Is ever since I said, you know what, I don't think there's a God, I've started asking questions. Where when I would see, like you said, these beautiful things before, and you can catch yourself doing it.
Did you see that thing about the designer universe? About that when Venus and the Earth, every time they have a conjunction, you know, every time they meet in the sky, if you draw a line between it, it forms a perfect Star of David.
Yeah,
you know?
there's amazing.
Near perfect geometric.
It's amazing.
Star.
I mean, there are also people who think they saw, you know, Mary and the grilled cheese.
No, this is real. This is real. I mean, our planets make this shape.
Yeah.
They don't make a ellipsoid. They don't make an octagon or a circle or a square. They make a star.
So here's our compromise. Is our compromise
on the universe
is if you take someone who thinks that's really miraculous and maybe it's a sign, and then you take someone who's really skeptical and says, you know what, it could just be it. Then the compromise and what a lot of religious people will say is, Star of David, done. And then a scientist will be like, that's a coincidence, done. The compromise, well, you know, and scientists will say, let's investigate it. Why did that happen? Is it just this shape? Let's look at other examples. What shape is that? Is it just, you know, is this the way they just happen to be aligned? You know, and that's the greatest part. Where even if you know, it's weird. Like I'm a staunch atheist, but a lot of things happen where I'm like, oh, I can't believe these coincidences happen, and maybe everything happens for a reason.
Right.
That's okay. Like I think it's okay.
Deja vu.
Yeah,
a dream that came true. I have weird dreams where I'm like, holy shit, I dreamt this. It might just be ordering food.
But here's the cool thing. I used to be huge in deja vu, and then I talked to one of my scientist friends, and they're like, oh, it's a little...
Did he explain it?
Yeah. But I never asked that question. I never asked that question.
What question?
What's deja vu?
Right.
And your brain, they have little mini seizures.
Okay, don't believe that shit.
It's scientifically proven.
What sign are you? I have to know right now.
Oh, God, I don't even know. Taurus.
Of course.
Is that what it is?
Earthy, artistic, luxury loving, although we may not know it.
Lived in my car.
Okay.
Lived in my car.
You'll
for 2
appreciate
years.
it when it comes,
Take that, star.
It's this close, it's right around the corner. You'll enjoy it.
But here's the difference, and here's where we can compromise again, is instead of, if you want to believe in astrology, if you want to believe in all, that's great. As long as it does not prevent you from asking questions and willing to evolve. And that's the problem, is ever since, again, I stopped believing in God, is I would ask these questions I never asked before. Where you hear so many stories about people discovering God because they saw something beautiful.
Right.
But the opposite of that is, I did the opposite, is right when I was touring the country is when I was an atheist, and I would see something like Niagara Falls, instead of being like, that is God's creation, I would ask God, I'd ask the tour guide, I'd be like, how did that happen? And tell me how scientifically it was created and how it evolved and how...
Okay, but how did that happen?
Right, but you keep asking these questions, and again, that is just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, that happened. And when you keep going back, I mean, the opposite of what you just said is religion in general, when we didn't know what revolved around what, the earth or the sun. You know, when Galileo was, people were persecuting these people.
Right, I think they killed him for telling the truth about the alignment of the planets.
And then, when they scientifically proved that, but they said it was because of God. Right? And then they scientifically proved that.
Well, now, hey, we're not defending anything on Buzz Magazine that defends, the religious
not saying you are, but if you keep going, and it's an excuse, religion is an excuse for people to stop. Whereas they would be like, well, God did it. And then someone would say that, and then they would persecute him. And then the next thing that would happen is like, okay, so we solved that. but now we don't know where this ends. And then some will be like, it's God, and then some will be like, no, let's look into it. And then they were persecuted, and it keeps going.
While you're in that realm, it's worse than that. Organized religion has been not just a way to stop people from thinking real spiritual thoughts. It's been murder and genocide and child,
hate crimes, discrimination, anti-science. I mean,
molestation.
For sure.
Organized religion. That's a nice way of saying too that they have actually stopped people from experiencing real spiritual ascendance, you know what I mean? Real human potential, which is what it was initially meant to be. And the exploration of your consciousness and your higher consciousness. You know They kill that shit. I mean, it's a completely perverted, hog-tied, raped, hard thing.
It's business too.
I mean, big business.
You look at how much money
the Pope is. How much land they own.
And
seriously.
And how much these mega churches reel in. It's
wow. It's big business.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, right now. I am of gotta be the least popular. I'm like I don't want to compare it to another minority, but as a Jewish person, was raised Jewish, bas mitzvah, Reformed Jewish, liberal, who became later, there's no terminology for it, but like a messianic Jew, someone who believes that Jesus, who was Jewish, was more than just a teacher.
So you're saying she
died.
don't like black people?
What could be more hated than a Jew who believes in Jesus?
I'm
really writing all. I should be on Oprah with this. But it's so fascinating because having been raised Jewish, fully Jewish, and really exploring that tradition and everything like that, and the ethnicity and all that. And then getting turned on to another more mystical side of the whole Judeo-Christian thing. It's really wonderful. And, I can enjoy it because I was not beat over the head with it. And raised Christian or Catholic and gotten all this.
And what's so cool is right now you have these thoughts now, and as long as you stay open-minded, in a year it could be different, in 5 years it could be different, and you're not in fear of this God who's going to punish you for changing your mind.
Because I didn't get exposed to any of that weird.
Yeah, and it's really someone who gave you free will is going to punish you for asking questions. Asking questions is the most
laughing. Laughing at serious things,
that's
human
important
nature.
To do. You have to do it.
That's a great gift you give to people too when you're doing comedy about religion or abortion or Alzheimer's. I did a movie about stem cell treatment. To some disabled people in my family needed it, didn't get it, and it's all about saying why not? Why 20 years later? Why did they die? And because you're arguing over embryos. They're not, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna let a living human being die over something in a petri dish?
Over umbilical cords that you're throwing in the garbage can, So I really appreciate your bringing those subjects up. And also, like I said, I compliment you. It was a great set, dynamite set here at the Lakeshore Theatre. And it's great to see that because it's just refreshing. You really hit on the head, which is a great set, very funny.
Thank you.
You killed him. It was this, and you've been here for 6 nights.
Something like that.
The end of a run, and it was a Sunday night crowd. You had them all frothy.
Cool.
And
thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Cool to support artists and don't get all mainstream fidgety.
What? Say that again?
Don't get all mainstream fidgety. It's nice that you actually ask questions instead of being that was offensive and.
Oh God!
That's the coolest part about this is we don't agree on everything, but we can totally see what the other.
You know what? Actually, we do. I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
I just wanted to pull you out.
You fucking hit me.
Listen. I can't. I am afraid to get stopped when I go to the airport. So actually, I was so on target with all of your opinions, and anything that I was playing devil's advocate was just to pull you out.
Because you're an actual journalist as opposed to.
There you go. Give me a hug.
Sure.
That was so much fun. I love it. We will hang out again.
Yeah, for sure.
We will.